Think BMW Classics, and this little number is regarded as one of the German brand's modern masterpieces. It is the E36 M3, and even after 20 years, it's still seen as one of the all-time great sporting sedans. But now, this car has a spiritual successor, the M235i.
Put these cars together and the similarities are uncanny. Unlike this slightly later model, the first M3 to be sold in Australia had a 3-litre 6-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. It cost about $125,000 from new and could sprint from 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in a touch over 5 seconds.
The new 235i shows just how far things have progressed since then. It gets a turbocharged 3-litre inline-6, producing 240 kilowatts and 450 newton metres. It's priced from about $80,000 plus on roads and can sprint from 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in just 4.8 seconds. Now, this is not a genuine M car, but even so, does it do justice as a rear-drive BMW coupe?
To find out, we took the new model through 2 scenarios, one in an urban environment where it is designed to offer a well-mannered executive type experience, and the other in its natural habitat, along twisting and undulating stretches of road. BMW has introduced a new naming strategy whereby sedans are designated an odd number and coupes and convertibles carry an even number, so that makes this car a physical replacement to the outgoing M135i coupe. Driving around town, the 235i exhibited friendly driving manners and even managed to go close to its claimed fuel consumption reading of 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres combined.
Not that you're likely to see those kind of figures if temptation gets the better of you. Sure, the 235i is a great daily driver. You've obviously got the variable ratio steering package and also the adaptive suspension, which allows you to toggle between the 4 different driving modes. And in eco mode and comfort mode, the true power of the engine is pretty well masked and the car is a really nice daily driver. When you're spending upwards of $80,000 on a car, you want something that gets you more than just around a bend, and this package really nails it. The steering's got a really nice feel to it in all the different driving settings, not just, you know, the heavier sporty ones where it's weighed up through corners. There's a nice feel to it in that it's really light around town and at low speeds, but it doesn't become overly heavy when you're pushing it through corners. It just gets to a nice sort of consistency, and there's plenty of feedback the whole time, which is really vital. In comfort mode, there's an amazingly plush feel to the overall ride, and it even makes this car suitable as a long distance hauler. And it's much the same for around town. All the little inconsistencies that you find on B-grade roads and all the rest, it handles those with ease, and it's very compliant. Driver's sent to the rear wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and the gearbox as well is really catered to a mix of both sporty driving and also the comfort dynamics that you're after as well.
Running on Michelin Pilot Supersport tyres, the M235i felt more compliant in its ride than the base 2 Series, which wears run-flat tyres. The only noticeable bugbear was the car's road noise at high speeds. However, put the M235i through corners and you'll try even harder to find its flaws, so much so that we found ourselves often comparing it with the original M3.
Because it had a naturally aspirated inline-6, the original E36 M3 came on really high at the top end of the rev range, but there wasn't a whole heap of power down low. But fortunately, the 235i has a slightly different nature to that because of the turbocharger. From really down low on the rev range, this inline-6 engine comes on really strong.
The accompanying 8-speed automatic gearbox is equally pleasing. There's no hesitation at low speed, and the gear shifts feel every bit as instant. We're yet to drive the 6-speed manual, but the auto has a real knack of doing what you want it to do.
Paired with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, you're able to make really good use of that full complement of power. And you don't have to drive the thing like a maniac to really enjoy the engine's full capabilities. The impressive thing about such a small car with such a big engine is just the way this BMW gets it all down to the ground. When you do push things a little bit too much, especially in the wet, it can become a little bit tail happy, but generally it puts the full 240 kilowatts of power down to the ground without fuss. And also the traction control system is really well calibrated. It's never overly intrusive, just comes on when it feels it's required. The steering itself has a lot of feel to it, but rather than weigh up needlessly, it just sort of stiffens a little bit while still offering the same level of feel that you find in the comfort or eco modes. Mid-corner bumps aren't a problem, there's no sign of unwanted kickback, and the car stays flat really well through all the corners. It's such a nice balanced machine. The other redeeming feature with this thing is just its brakes. It's got huge rotors on the front, nice blue calipers on the edition that we're driving at the moment, and it pulls this thing up really well. You barely notice the curb weight, which is quite heavy for a two-door coupe of this size, but with brakes like that on hand, you can pull this thing up really well.
The 235i's wonderful engine creates a true sense of theatre inside the cabin, which is otherwise a little generic and doesn't stray too far from most BMWs. Other than a few badges sprinkled across the interior, there's nothing that really screams M Sport about the entire package, although it does bear similar attributes to the earlier model M3s. The seats are comfortable and well bolstered, the driving position is terrific, and there are a lot of switches and dials aimed towards the cockpit, making it a very driver-focused environment. All the usual amenities are on hand as well, along with a decent back seat and a boot which will cater for the weekly shopping run, but could leave some BMW drivers asking for more.
So does the M235i have what it takes to be remembered as a genuine sports car? In a word, absolutely. While it might not be as groundbreaking as the E36 M3 was, this car has all the ingredients to continue BMW's strong history of admirable rear-drive coupes.